Alan?
Yeah. Oh, he was such a dear. He was really good, like a really good, solid actor to play with, you know.
Yeah, there were so many twists and turns in the film, and I was just like, whoa, I was taken by surprise. Mark, how did the film come about?
I was between jobs. I'm between jobs a lot. And you're a freelance person, and I go for a lot of hikes in the woods, listening to my, 20 years ago, my Walkman. And I was hiking in Griffith Park in this sort of general area, and I saw down the edge of a trail, I saw what was like a shirt, but it also looked like a person the way that it was lying there, and I was like, is that a dead person on the side of the trail? And it wasn't. I went down and it was just the shirt.
Oh.
But again, I'm walking through the woods, I'm not listening to this, music just to free my mind, and I went backwards. I'm like, what if that was a person? And like, why would that person have been there? And what would have caused, something bad must have happened, and maybe it was like, so I kind of, through just walking around, kind of like right brain thinking, I created, it was months, but eventually a story came out of it. So it all came from hiking and just freeing my mind, walking around, and a story came out of it.
And so a hot Latino was there taking his shirt off too?
Well, that's personal, but to
It was all in the film.
But to your point that there's the levels of myopia, the levels of short-sightedness of everyone is people only see what's right in front of them. So David sees his object of desire. He doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't care. Tony sees him and it's like, he's an easy mark. I'll just do this. Robert shows up and he just sees a fight and he's like, you get away from, everybody is just very short-sighted in it. And there's two twists. The first twist, again, 20 years ago, before gay people get married, was, wait, he's married to a guy? Like, that was the first. You just assume if he's wearing a ring and he's talking to this person that's on the phone, and so you're like, oh, I was short-sighted in just assuming all of this. And then just the bigger picture of like what is going on. It's not until the very end when David is cornered and finally has to tell the truth that everything comes into sharp. Everybody's short-sightedness comes into focus.
Absolutely. Thank you. Fire fucking fire. Now, my question is, did this ever happen? Did this happen to you? How did the story come about?
No. I didn't write it.
Well, let me stop you there,
Yeah.
because it did happen to me, okay? I had a homeless person come, I didn't know he was homeless, he came over, he was in my bed and didn't want to leave. I swear to God, it's a true story.
I mean, I think we've all, in reality, had somebody that we hooked up with that just wouldn't leave. And you thought it was going to be fantastic, and then you were like, holy crap, that was the worst thing I could have ever done in my life. So I think we've all been there. But I did not write Fire Fucking Fire. Rachel Polson and Julia Erringer co-wrote it. They co-directed it. I was brought on as an executive producer and a producer, and script supervisor and PA and everything else you kind of need on the way there. But it really is a relatable story for everybody, because again, it's not just about just hooking up with somebody. It's we all kind of look for somebody that we're going to find some sort of validation in ourselves through somebody else. Like if I hook up with this person who's hotter, or this person who's more successful, or this person who's whatever, suddenly I'm going to be more successful, I'm going to be hotter, I'm going to be whatever, and it's not true. You're just the very best you can be at any given time. Just be that, and that's success. That's all it is. So this is just a learning curve right here.
Yeah. Did the house burn down?
Thankfully, no. That was my sister's house. So No, my buddy Simon is a special effects artist, so he donated his time to that. But he was very cool. He came on set. You know, you don't realize a lot of things when you're producing a project, but special effects, you have to have the special effects supervisor on set to tell you how to set things up, because we had to have a fan like shaking the curtains so that way it looked like the smoke was rising and things like that. And if you don't think about that while you're on set, it just looks flat. It doesn't look right, and then they can't do even the smoke. You know, when Vico was like blowing smoke, you know, at Rachel, that's, you know, special effects. So if you don't do that correctly, it looks really crappy.
Yeah.
So,
It looked beautiful.
yeah, thank you.
It was great.
I did all of it myself.
Thank you.
Everything that you saw.
Congratulations.
I did all of it. So, you know.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Billy. Monty. What a beautiful film. What a beautiful short. Thank you so much. But what I want you
Comedy.
It's comedy. But what I want you to do is tell the audience what your relationship is with Cliff.
Oh, he's a cousin. That's all.
And
I never met Montgomery Clift, but I did know his brother, Brooks Clift, because Brooke lived in Los Angeles, where I grew up. And so Brooke would come for Thanksgiving and Easter and all these different things. So I was just a little kid, mind you, I'm not that old. And so my sister actually became very close with him, and they used to hang out a lot. So there were a lot of stories in the feature. Now, everything that's said in this movie, he said, or Elizabeth did say, everything has been documented being accurate. And even that interview, it's the only interview he ever did, was with that man, Hy Gardner from New York.
wow.
And so that was a recreation of the actual, and those were the actual dialogue that was stated. It's much, much longer than that. It's almost an hour. And in the feature, it's in a lot more. Also in the feature, there's a lot more time of falling into being linear and then coming back, so that you kind of fall into, especially meeting Elizabeth Taylor. That is a major moment in the feature. But I just always, we always knew that he was part of our relation, and you just see that nobody really knows who he is anymore. And he and Marlon Brando and James Dean started a whole style of acting, and they don't even realize that Monty was actually number one, Brando was 2, and then Dean was 3rd. So I always felt that somebody should tell his story. Plus, he was gay.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to know that for us as well as gay people to understand. And he was Elizabeth Taylor's best friend. Excuse me,
And so in the film, you explore Marilyn and Elizabeth and
Exactly. And of course, as I said before, Judy Garland was somebody that he idolized. And so he would listen. He had Ella Fitzgerald and Judy Garland always. Those are the things that he listened to. And so I figured that, how beautiful it would be that would be his soundtrack in his head.
Yeah.
The last day of his life, what albums would he put on the record? It would be, and who would he want to be near him in his mind?
Yeah.
Would be Judy Garland. And he did used to go, Liz and he used to go and see her all the time. So he was close enough to her, of course. It was Montgomery Clift at the time, Elizabeth Taylor. So anyway, I think it's a very important film to create in the future. And I always know that things have their time to fall into place. And I know that this will.
Yeah, it should, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, Stefan helped make sure that it happened. He helped produce this, executive produce it. And someone like him, I couldn't have done it with it. We did it only in 2 days, and of course we had a wonderful, we had an insane 2 days. Well, if you watch my work.
I've seen your work up close.
He has. He's actually in a short film that I
I'm sorry,
did.
can I say, that
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
technique-wise, there are multiple filming techniques
Sorry, I'm not trying to steal your time here, but there are multiple filming techniques in his short film or in your film that can take days just to get one scene done.
Absolutely.
On average, we you know, when you're filming something, you want to do, well, short films or whatever, because we film 10 pages in a day or whatever if we have to, 20 if we have to. But I really thought that took months just for all the different styles of filming, just the different lens changes, the different lighting, the different textures, tones. I mean, it was a lot of work, man. Good for you.
That's amazing.
It's something that I've really learned how to do, is to pack things into a short period of time. And the problem is my, companies really think that I can do it for nothing, you know? I always work, but.
Don't make it look so easy.
Exactly, because it takes a long time. It took a long time to edit as well. But of course, it had to be down to where everything, I knew exactly what it was gonna look like, right? You couldn't have just jumped on that and made it, oh, what the hell, you know? That had to be
You have
really
to have
planned
a
out,
vision.
and that's your, your shot list, that you very clearly can see it in your head. And I had a DP, and we both really knew exactly what this was going to be. And I just think of all the costumes, and they were all period costumes.
Yeah.
God, the designer even made, yes, the cherry dress that Marilyn Monroe made. My costumer recreated what she wore in Misfits.
Wow.
Yeah, and these people did it for nothing. You know,
Don't
all-
say that.
It was a passion. It was a passion project.
It was a passion, and they
It was
all
a passion
looked
project.
very
you know?
much like the real people.
Yeah, thank you. I know they were good, weren't they?
They were very
my
good.
My Marilyn, my Judy.
Yes.
And that's her singing. You know, that's Motto singing. You know, it's amazing.
It's amazing.